All right, we are live. What's
Perfect.
happening, everybody? It's your boy, Big Tank Hank, coming at you with another live stream with a special guest, Trent Weldon of Well Done Tanks. How you doing today, sir?
I am well. Again, thank you so much for having me here. I've been really looking forward to this live stream with you, Garrick. It's been a good day coming.
Yes, sir. Most definitely, most definitely. Who we got in the chat over here? Hey, y'all, how we doing? Carrie Habercorn, how you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Chris John, what's going in? What's going on, Chris? Lewis, uh-oh, turn my volume down here. Lewis Snazza, rebuilding our brand. Melvin, what's going on? Muppet 929. Mr. William Pridemore, what's going on? Bob, howdy do, howdy do. Y'all hear him, hit that like button. Anthony Fishy Friends, what's going on, man? Gen C, Dead Fred 821. How we feeling? How we feeling? Yes, everybody. You know how I do on here. I know y'all all know who Trent is, but I believe in the reintroduction in the sense of, get to know the man, the myths, and the legends. We're gonna let
I
him.
want to go. I want to go. I want to go as far as the legend, but I'll take it.
Foxy, how you doing? Vanoski Tanks, what's going on? Thank y'all. Thank y'all. We're gonna let him tell you a little bit about a young Trent growing up so we can set the stage, to know, a little bit of insight on the man that he is today. Take it
Thank
over,
you.
sir.
Yeah. So where do we start? Like I know everybody always asks, where did you start with the fish keeping hobby? How'd you get here? Where'd you get to, having 30 tanks in your basement and two in the office? And so I've been in this hobby about 5 years now. It's honestly as long as I've been in this, and I think I've watched more YouTube than the average person should consume. That's all right. I download that knowledge and then try and share it back out. But yeah, so I'm in Utah. So right, I'm in the Salt Lake City area. Me and Puppy Guru Peter, who's previously on your stream, we live 30 minutes from each other, so we do get in shenanigans all the time. Let's be honest.
I was saying, don't get cooler than that, though.
You're right. It's been a lot of fun having somebody that close I can share this hobby with. I've born and raised here in Utah. I've never moved out. Always stayed here. I'm 4 of 5 kids, so a relatively okay family and all that kind of there. But we've stayed here, and then it was the thing that I really is going to set me apart from the community, and anybody who has watched my live streams or even some of my channel, but I know we're going to have a lot of people that don't know who I am, is growing up, and I deal with Tourette syndrome. So I have Tourette's. So I always like to tell, the way I introduce myself to people is when they ask about it is I tell them that I'm the guy that makes funny noises and I can't control it. Then we can go farther into when you're in a quiet room and you hear me sniffing in the back of the room, that's me. And then, growing up, I always lost at hide and seek. So I never played that as a kid. You can't stop yourself from making noises, but so it was good. Went through high school. I actually got into journalism in high school. So I really like to write. I think that helped come into the creative side of YouTube. As much as you think I would be nervous talking in front of people, I really enjoy it. That's why I love live streams, especially when I get to share them with someone like yourself here, Garrick. It's the opportunity to talk with individuals about what we love, what we do, and everything else gets pushed aside. So let's see. I used to be into reptiles, so I had plans to have like a reptile room, snake racks, all of that. Then I met my wife, and it was an immediate you are not having a snake in this household. There's no way you're not having snakes.
That sounds
So it was our first Christmas together, and she bought me a 20-gallon starter kit from PetSmart for a fish tank. And she told me, her comment was, "You can't do snakes, but I guess you can do fish." And so now I tease her of like, I bet you didn't expect that from one tank we were gonna, take over 2 basements, build 2 fish rooms, 30 aquariums, YouTube channels, and it was it's frustrating. I know she gets frustrated with me. I went past passion into an obsession, but I always go back to like, you're the one that started this. Like, you're the one that gave me that first fish tank for Christmas. But she's been so supportive of me, just allowing me to do what I do. She's actually the background here in the studio. She's the one that put all this together. She did the lighting on this tank. She did hung up all these pictures in here. I've got shelves in here that she put together. She actually helped build the stand on the tank behind me. So in her own way, she kind of has joined in supporting this and doing this. She's even bagged up fish for me. I can't tell you how many fish she's unboxed for me too, where I'm at work, I get that fish order, and she's the one taking care of them, even though it's not her thing. But so growing up, my brothers had an aquarium, but I mean, we're talking like you pluck it out of a magazine 90s aquarium that it's puke, like clown puke, gravel, probably more fish than we know what to do with. It really shouldn't have been together. But I remember my oldest brother bought cichlids. That's what they were sold to him as, was just cichlids. And looking back, I'm positive they were convict cichlids, but we didn't know at the time. And he would cut up little pieces of hot dog, and feed it to his fish. And I remember watching the ferocity of the fish and the feeding. And I mean, I was 5, so we're talking 25 years ago, but I remember that. I remember that so vividly. And so I think no matter if my wife hadn't bought me a tank or not, I think at some point in my lifetime, I would have gotten into fish tanks. Fortunately, my wife poked and prodded that one along a little quicker than normal, and that kind of leads us here to where now I've been doing YouTube for 3 years in February. So we're coming up on 3 years. This is my second fish room I've built, and I already got plans for a third.
Right. Not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. Oh my goodness. Hey, Dead Fred got a question for you. Does giving speeches help you keep your Tourette's at bay?
Getting focused and talking about what I enjoy keeps it at bay. So it's always going to be there. And I meet people that don't notice it. If you're around me long enough, you don't notice it. If you're first watching like one of my streams or a video, it's maybe noticeable. So it's not so much the speech, but if you get me, I guarantee you the more we get into the stream and my nerves kind of, settle down a little bit as we're talking more, I think you'll see them slow down, because my brain, I'm not nervous about impressing people anymore. I'm just enjoying myself, and I get into that groove of, this is Trent. If you don't like me, there's the door. If you do like me, like, come hang out. Let's be friends. Let's get to know each other. So I've been very fortunate, though, in the fish community. So many people just have encouraged me to keep going. There was a point in time I actually almost just quit YouTube altogether because of the stress of trying to hide it, where it was so difficult. But now this is who I am, right? And so I don't know if that answers the question, but it's when I get focused on a topic or I'm in a group talking about fish, they're barely noticeable, because I don't have time to think about it. All I'm thinking about is fishing and just enjoying myself.
All right, that's most definitely the way to go. I saw your I want to say maybe your last video, I think, when you were speaking about your Tourette's, the situation you was dealing with judgment and whatnot. And I want to say you said this was the last time you was going to explain it or whatever. And I have. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I used to in all of my older videos, I used to make a comment about it in every video. And then it got repetitive to me of, I no longer want to be known as the guy with Tourette's. I want to be known as the guy that keeps fish. So I wanted to make that transition of, I don't want to be known for this. I just want to be accepted.
Man, yeah, that's definitely the way to look at it. Because Lord knows, I had a few thoughts about, how do I need to do my channel? Because I was watching people first, and this is me who works for me on a daily basis. I wasn't sure if I was gonna fit in the fish fam or YouTube, but I just decided to be me. I have a sense of humor, but I don't do a whole lot of extra, trying to be fun or anything like that. I just let everything move in an organic manner, man. I believe that's the easiest and most comfortable way to do this. You be you, because nobody can be you better than you. You're a pro at it. You know what I'm saying? It's just when you try to be somebody else.
If you hadn't joined the fish fam, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. So I'm sure glad you did.
Right. Thank you, man. Thank you. Hey, what is let me see. What is your, well, no, I don't know if I can ask that question because you might not want to tell that, but I'm gonna ask it. What is your biggest, no, it might be a YouTube secret though. Like, what is your biggest thing that you have coming down the pipe right now? See?
It's interesting you asked that, because it's the fun fact is I don't know if this is the best explanation. Legally, I can't talk about it yet.
Okay.
I have some paperwork in my email right now that has been trusted to me to start some things with, so I legally can't talk about it yet. So I can give the brief answer that I can on what I actually can say about that. The biggest thing I have coming down the pipeline right now is I recently just changed a few tanks around in my fish room to where I was keeping as many species as I could, down to focusing into very specific breeding groups or breeding pairs. So the biggest thing coming down from the pipeline kind of a thing is I'm really interested in the Lake Victoria cichlids right now. So I'm hoping to do more work with those, make those more available to people. I've just brought in, so the jewel cichlid is always kind of known as that rodent of the hobby, in my opinion, that breeds so fast you can never get rid of them. Nobody wants them. Until my local fish store at the waterfront, the owner called me up one day and he's like, "Have you ever heard of the turquoise jewel cichlid?" And and if I hear a name I don't know, like, you've piqued my interest. So I'm working on breeding the turquoise jewel cichlid right now, which is a magnificent blue that I've never seen in a fish before. So can't talk about the legit biggest thing, but coming down the pipeline here, I would say it's the fish that I'm actively working on breeding in my fish room right now. And like one of them is I hope I say it right, the Movawi cribensis. It's like, I think I have a successful spawn, and that's my first time ever breeding a cribensis species, and so I'm very excited about that.
Okay. Hey, Streetwise has a question on it. Do you see Tim Howard is now on NBC for Premier League?
I don't know who Tim Howard is. And I don't know what Premier League is.
Okay.
Am I behind something?
I don't know, because I know Premier League is soccer, but I don't know anything about soccer myself.
I grew up playing soccer.
So are those jewel cichlids, are those the red, the little red fish with the sparkly spots? Is that a jewel cichlid?
That is. So that's the normal jewel cichlid.
Okay. But I like those.
They're pretty looking. They're pretty, but they breed like convict cichlids, and they're incredibly angry. Like, it's woke up on the wrong side of the tank angry, gonna kill everything in sight angry. Where I'm starting to kind of play around with the turquoise, and for whatever reason, like, they're not as feisty. So I think we're onto something with these turquoise jewel cichlids.
Maybe that maybe that's that red color, that stereotype, the red butt, he's red in the butt. Talking about an angry person, maybe that's why that little fish is like that.
see reds and it goes. But yeah, so far it's
Chubb say, how are the golden top minnows doing?
so I'm sure you're familiar with Wild Fish Tanks, Ryan.
Yep.
Wild Fish
Yep.
Tanks down in Florida. So me and him, we talked one day, and he had some wild caught golden top minnows from Florida, native species to the U.S. And he asked me if I could be his guinea pig in testing on shipping them. So I got what he believed was a pair. He wasn't 100% sure. And then lo and behold, only like 3 weeks after I had them in my fish room, I was moving them from a tank to a different tank. And when something catches your eye, kind of at the corner of your eye, and you go look for it, it's not there, so you think you're crazy. But as I started draining that tank, I found that they had actually bred for me. So I now have the captive, so the wild-caught parents in my fish room, but I also have about 10 of their F1 juveniles now that are growing out, and they are doing fantastic. So yeah, the juveniles are growing really well. The parents are still doing great. So that's a very low key fish. If you don't know what they are, it's just another fish. But once you see them, like I now really want to do like a native tank, like Rachel Leary's Hill Stream tank. Right, I love that tank. I love the flow of it. I like the look of it. So I got ideas in my head of it. Would be cool to do something with the golden top minnows, maybe some rainbow shiners. Different kind of darters. But right now those golden top minnows, they're fat and happy. That's for sure. They're fat and happy.
Yeah, I'm really enamored by those golden top minnows. That Chubbs had asked the question. I'm still trying to find my way to New Orleans to his house because we're supposed to go out and catch some. But
that would be cool.
It's convincing the wife, for us to make that jump because it's a little bit of a distance from me, but it's drivable, Texas, Louisiana. It's very drivable. I just have to catch my wife at the right time and then just put in the car and take off, before she change her mind.
Well, if that trip, if it does happen and you don't catch anything, let me know. I say I've got some fry available. I'd be more willing to ship out to you.
Already. Let me see. Oh, they discussing the soccer situation down there. Okay, let me see. What'd be a good question now? What is your favorite fish in your fish room?
Oof. In the fish room. I gotta think about this one. Well, I'm gonna go based off the tank that I check the most. So next. Now, the favorite fish right now is I'm still just enamored by it. It is the multicolor Victoria Egyptian mouth brooder. Pseudocrinillibus. I can't pronounce the scientific names. All I know it's the Egyptian mouth brooder, but it's the multicolor Victoria species. I call it a yellow fish wearing blue lipstick. The male gets this very rich gold color on the body, and its lips are blue, like hypothermia blue. But it's a beautiful fish, and the courting of the fish, actually watching the breeding behavior, I've been able to catch it on my security camera that I have in the fish room. It's intriguing to watch. It's very intriguing. So that right now is absolutely probably my favorite fish I have in the fish room right now.
Okay. What's happening, HC Aqua? How you doing, man? Multicolor Victorian Egyptian brooder. That sounds exotic. Dead Fred says, okay.
So it's another Lake Victoria species. I heard about it from Randy interviewing Corey about his Breeders' Award program that he did years ago. And I was able to find a pair on Aquabid, and now I have almost 300 fry in the fish room right now of the multicolor Victoria. So they're available. I have them for sale on our Fish Collective website. They're available for sale right now.
Okay, that sounds good. Let me see. Do you have any questions? Oh, we got a lot of people saying hello. Health and Animal Adventures, what's going on? Danikin, welcome. Hat Trick Farm, what's going on? Streetwise, I didn't shout you out when I first saw you come in the door. Mridul Singh, what's happening? What's happening? GNC. Priscilla, saw you come in. How you doing? Color Guppies. Jay's Better Room, what's happening, man? I see you made it in. Thank you for showing up. All right, what is your okay, you told us what your favorite fish was specifically, but as a whole, what do you see as the direction? Live bearers, cichlids. Where does your heart lie as far as the direction in a global? I don't even know global. Yeah, I'll use global from a global standpoint. Meaning you getting huge in the future. What do you think you want to propel you that way?
So I recently just changed over to where now 90% of my fish room is cichlids. So I started very heavy on the live bear side. I'm still very interested in the wild type live bears. So the Ixonica dodrii, the Limia peruges, the humpback limias, the yellow belly live bear. And I had all of those species in the fish room at one point, very successfully bred. The yellow belly live bears, the Limia peruges, started working on the humpback limias. So it's the next fish room I do is going to have hopefully a dedicated space, just live bears. They're so much fun to play with. Recently, though, I've moved into the cichlids, and the main reason being is I am fascinated how these fish mouth brood their eggs. So that is kind of what's the challenge of mine right now, is spotting when a female's holding a bunch of eggs in her mouth, knowing when to pull those eggs, and then when you pull a small 2-inch little female and you pull 60 plus eggs out of one female, it blows my mind on that. So right now I'm very interested in different types of cichlids. I know most cichlids are going to do a mouth brooding type husbandry, but that's where I'm at. So the waterfront got a big old drop off box for me of all my live bears, most of my live bears. And then I brought home. So right now I have a Taiwan reef pair in my fish room. I have a dragon blood pair. I have a group of Kyogre flamebacks. So if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, like I haven't talked about all these yet. So I'm kind of giving you the secret information here. So I got what do you call them? Hang on here. Oh, it's Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics told me about them. The obliquidins, the zebra obliquidins. What else is in there right now? And then I got things like the multicolor Victoria, the Mullawy crebensis are technically a cichlid. And then the jewel cichlids, I'm really hoping I can get to breed, because I want to watch the behavior of the parents laying the eggs and guarding the eggs, to where most of the time I find a female holding those eggs in her mouth. How nature works. I still have endlers, some swordtails. I think that's it on live bears actually right now. Holy cow. Yeah, because then everything else is either like a type of cichlid or an egg layer. So I've moved away. So the market in Utah, my hard water is so good for live bears, guppies, that kind of a thing. But on the flip side, it's also incredibly good for African cichlids. So there are numerous, like the number one tank you see in Utah is going to be that peacock cap cichlid tank. 55 gallon, 120 gallon, 125, just loaded with cichlids. So that's where I've started to kind of move into, because I've been able to find people that are, breaking down those tanks. And then I coordinate with my local fish store to, grab a pair from him, or he'll bring a pair in for me. And it's been a fun relationship to have with that, where I'll get a random text of, have you ever kept a Molloy crebensis? Bro, I've never even heard of that fish. Okay, well, do you want to keep a pair? Sure, let's try it. Let's try it and see what happens. So that's where we are.
That's cool. Hey, HC Aqua said, are you part of the Utah Idea Club?
Utah Idea Club. I have to Google that. I'm not. I honestly haven't heard of the Utah Idea Club. I am part of the Utah Fancy Association Guppy Club. So they are an IFGA affiliated club. Joined it just to kind of, I joined it to rub shoulders with people. Even though I don't keep a lot of guppies, I joined it to rub shoulders. There's guys here in Utah that, hey, they've been working on specific guppy strains for 30 years. One strain for 30 years. So then I also am part of the Greater Salt Lake Aquarium Society, and I hope that it lives beyond the pandemic, because we haven't had a meeting 6+ months by now. So it's kind of a wayward club, and it's just very disappointing, because I was very active in that club.
Hold on. HC Aqua, dang, autocorrect. What you didn't put what you meant down there, HC Aqua? What was you trying to say? Maybe idea wasn't the right word. Is that what it is? Okay, so you seemingly are angling towards more I guess obscure is a word to use. We're gonna stick with that word. Strains of
It's a
fish.
good word.
Yeah, we'll stick with that one. Are you wanting a I'm always trying to use the right word because I don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but
there's no offense taken here.
Well, no, not yours, but you're maybe other people in the chat per se. Are you gearing more towards an upscale type of fish business as opposed to being generic? Okay, this is what's popular. I'm a load up on this. You know what I'm saying? Where those that you have are actually something. They're fish that people, literally certain people, seek after, and then you have the other people who don't even know they exist.
Yes. So if you go back to my first fish room, it was more set up as a display fish room. It was beautiful, right? I had puffer fish, Mabu puffer fish, Fahaka puffer fish. Fell in love with that. But then now as I moved into, so my fish room right now is 56 square feet. It's a 7x8 fish room, and I've crammed in 30 aquariums into this little room, and it's awesome. So I started to look at what was available. You go, I really only had one good local fish store to me, and I would go in there, and the stock was always the same. So I understand they're feeding to a market. They have individuals, but then I would start asking them, can you order me in fish? And I get the wishy-washy answers of, well, kind of, I don't know. What's your phone number? Maybe we'll look into it. So then I started really looking towards the internet of, I've heard of this fish. I want to keep this fish, but nobody has it. So then the heavens opened and the waterfront opened up in my area. And from day one, it was just a blessing of what fish are you after? Let me find those for you. Good communication. So now to get into the root of your question, I wanted to find fish that, one, intrigued me. I need to be passionate about a fish to keep it. But then I also, as I moved into this breeding operation, I wanted to be able to find a fish that I'm fortunate enough that I can obtain, afford, but then make it available to the market at a way better price than what other people are going to be selling it for. So it's not a breed to, I mean, sure. Can I say breed for profit? Okay, maybe enough to pay the fish room bills, feed the fish, buy the fish food, all that kind of a thing. But when I now offer like Egyptian mouth brooders, I didn't know what those were until I found them, but now that I'm having great success with them, I want others to be able to have success with them. I want others to be able to find that. And so that's now I look at my fish room as something you can come into my fish room and instead of saying, what fish can I keep with what fish? And I have to say, ooh, sorry, man. If you pull this fish and this fish and put them in the same tank, they're going to kill each other. Now you can come into my fish room and go, give me some of tank A, give me some of tank B, and give me just a smidge of tank C, and we can create you a tank with top dwelling fish, bottom dwelling fish, rock dwelling fish. You want some plants in there? I'm doing some testing right now on plants that can survive with cichlids, look good with cichlids. But I went after these more obscure fish to challenge myself, but I also really wanted to make them available to other hobbyists, because it's frustrating when you get on Aquabit or Google and it's, you want how much for a pair of fish? Like, you want how much for Taiwan Reef cichlid fry? It's where I want people to come to me and be like, hey, I just started a tank. I'm looking for this fish. Do you have any? Yes, not a problem. Pay me the shipping. I'll ship them out to you. We'll call it good. And that's what makes me happy, is when somebody messages me and they're looking for that fish and I have them available. I can send them out. But then it's the week's progression of the direct messages of like, they bred. Look at the endlers. I have a tank full of endlers now. Like, thank you so much. That's what this hobby is about to me. So I am part of our Fish Collected group that Peter put together. And I am selling fish there, but I try to price them in a way that it's available to everybody. Because I know that, like, right now, the green dragon pleco is one I really want in my fish room. And I started bidding on a pair on Aquabid. I cut my bidding off at $80. No joke. I checked that same listing today. It was over $500 for one pair of plecos. So my goal is to track down some fry. I'm going to raise them up, breed them up. Then people can come to me and be like, you got any of them green dragon plecos? I do. How much do you want for them? No. Pay me the shipping. You're good. None of this $500 business stuff. That doesn't make sense to me.
You're going to be the green pleco plug?
I hope so. I have some longfin lemon blue eyes coming up, and then I have my L199 yellow zebra plecos that have bred for me. So I've got a couple fry running on the tank, and that was you talk about a day doing the happy dance. When I saw a little baby pleco running around the tank, that was a happy dance time for sure.
Okay, man, I've seen like the zebra plecos, but I've seen these pleco prices. I have one. Well, I don't even know if specialty is the right word, because I have some common plecos in my ponds in the garage, but I have one female bristle nose down in a 20-gallon long behind me down there, like calico colored. I'm crazy about that little fish, but beyond that, I just don't understand the people paying so much for some plecos.
That's why I actually got my yellow zebras. Is one, they were affordable. For a group of 6, I paid the same amount for a group of 6 that I would have paid for one true zebra pleco. So they're different, right? It's more of a dark fish, yellow banding. It's beautiful. But to have fry that I can offer to people for a fraction of the cost is rewarding to me. And I think there's a gentleman, I want to say he's in Pennsylvania, maybe Wisconsin. I gotta check, but he reached out to me, and it was we conversed back and forth for over a week, making sure his water parameters were right, the temperature was right, and then again it was I'll pay you what you paid for the adults. And no, that's not the purpose of this. I want you to enjoy this fish. So yeah, they're fun fish.
Redul Singh says $500 a pair, and most green dragons don't even breed true. He said, hopefully we get the line sorted out soon and in the hands of breeders like you guys. And
Let me
that's
see if
crazy
I can
that people
find it.
And they'll pay it.
Yes, it's insane because he's right. It's unfortunate that there's people that give a bad reputation, and I don't like to speak ill of people, but there is a breeder in my area that I know sells plecos that are a darker common bristle nose, but he passes them off for green dragons, and it infuriates me. I treat my fish business the same way I treat everything else. The golden rule. If I'm honest in my dealings, people are going to be honest in their dealings with me, and that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, what's happening, Thomas? Welcome in. I don't like for myself, if nobody else, later on, man, you're going to be held accountable. You can't get away from it. Later on, you're going to be held accountable, man, for being dishonest like that. You just cannot get away from it. Skipper's Aquariums, welcome. Man, I really like that idea, man, that you've adopted in the way that you're directing this. Because I have, at this point, my LFS has a giant tank of platinum super Dumbo guppies, and I can get them for a lovely price, I can say. And he's making me want to turn my whole fish room into just that, because I have those blonde Endler guppy hybrids that I'm really crazy about. They breeding pretty prolific, and I think everybody's tank should have one in it. But I'm also going to try to refine these Dumbos that he has, because it's obvious that he wasn't doing a lot of culling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even some of the culls are beautiful, but I went to another one of my LFSs earlier today. They were giving away free horn water, so I had to go get my sample.
It's a good plan.
And there was a tank where it was a mosaic Dumbo, and it was like $6 for a single fish. And I'm looking in the tank, and there was no real uniformity. I mean, I saw some that looked like they could be zebras, and I saw some cobras, and I saw, they were in the same realm, but it was obvious it wasn't breeding anywhere near true.
Right.
But this tank is here in the middle of the store, and this store is a well-respected store. I mean, other than that, everything about it is great, man. He'll find things that you can't find. But this tank, and it was today, this tank was so disconcerting to me, man. It just broke my heart. I'm like, I'm tempted to text message him and ask him, dude, are you serious? You really got these out here like this, charging people this price? It was crazy to me, but I don't know what motivates some people to just pull the dice out of their pocket, blow on them and roll.
Let me see if the camera will pick this up, so people know I'm not lying about this. So this bid, I think, is still active. So me and I actually met. Well, I say met. I have interactions with HC Aqua on Aquabid. Me and him got into a bidding war, and I didn't know who he was until I did a live stream, and he started teasing me in the live stream that he won the bidding war. But check this out. It may not pull it up, but right now, it's not going to show it. Right now, if you go to Aquabid, I'm looking at it right now. If you go to Aquabid and type in longfin green dragon, it closes tomorrow. 25 bids, $503.99 for a pair of green dragons right now. That is the bidding. That is the bid right now. $500. That's insane to me. Like, why not get these in your fish room? Breed them, have a spawn of 100, sell them for $20 a piece. Let people enjoy this fish. So, but I agree with you. I can't roll the dice on $500.
Oh, man. And you know, I mean, conscience, man. They are fine with it. I mean, this is not fish related, but it is just in the sense of how people will put certain things up for sale. A boss I had a while back, his son played little league baseball, you know, the kind of select baseball. And I was working late, closing the shop, and he was bidding on a baseball bat. We talking about little league, a little bat, you know, little short bat, little league bat, aluminum bat, and this bat was up to $500.
That's
And
crazy.
he had me. He was going out to eat with his family. He was having me while I was at work on our computer bidding on this bat for him, and his cap was $500. I'm like, a baseball bat for little league baseball. But I'm just imagining that bat will still be a bat. So
Hopefully, hit some good home runs.
And you know, but nobody's sneaking up on you with that bat. You know, in the sense of you see it. You know what I'm saying? But the fish, man, so they believe in you and trust in you. You know, and then they get this. They pay all this money. Oh man. Ooh. You know, I want to pull up to that doorstep myself. You know, that's not a good thing, man. Bob, what do you mean they breed like later on in age? Because he said green dragons aren't easy to breed.
So it's the sexual maturity thing, but it comes back. I mean, for me, it's principle, patience, right? Like there's a thing in the hobby of it's patience. So I understand that some fish can be more difficult to breed and all this kind of a thing, but it's my yellow zebra plecos. I've had them for almost 2 years now, and they've bred. Technically have bred twice. One was a successful spawn with 4 fry. So I get it, but it's frustrating to me when I mean, and this is me on a high horse. Again, this is the gospel according to Weldon Tank, so don't listen to it too closely. It's the principle of I want to get these fish into my fish room to then make them better available to people, not hoard them. And it's easy to be a fish hoarder. It's very easy to be a fish hoarder, but I would love to try my hand at these and give the younger generation coming into this hobby a chance to get green dragons at a good price, because they are a gorgeous fish, an absolutely incredible, gorgeous fish. And I would love to offer a good line, because like I know we've seen in the chat that they breed late, they're difficult to get to breed, they don't even breed true half the time. So we'll see. Let's definitely see what we have there.
Carrie says, my friend just told me about those green dragons. I started my search. I haven't found anything promising yet.
Well, Carrie, if I get some good ones, I think you can bribe us to drive back out to Reno.
Yeah, man, it's like I said on my last stream, and it wasn't dealing with, you know, the price of fish, I mean, not overall price of fish, because I mean some fish, I mean, especially if you're talking about some giant cichlid, I mean, I can understand pricing, certain prices, but it's just fish, meaning, in the fish hobby, it's just fish, but capitalism, it rules everything, what I mean?
That's true.
It's just people don't understand that they control that though.
Yes.
And if you have one person willing to pay an absorbent amount, but you have 20 others who know that's a little crazy, they can actually change that narrative. But I mean, they don't. We'll complain about it, but it's gonna stay that way until we stop paying them, that crazy money. You going out, people say wild caught, at what cost, for the environment in regards to where the fish live, the particular fish in the environment, how many are still out there. They need to get a better hand or control on that one. And if the few
Right.
people who actually get a hold of these fish, make it a point to breed, share, so that the hobby has them. We can look at decent prices so everybody can be able to do this.
I
I mean,
agree.
I used to raise pit bull dogs back in the day, and I had got to where I had a name, in the sense of the type of quality dogs I had. But my thing was every backyard should have had a pit bull in it, and I gave away way more puppies than I sold. But I mean, that was intentional. I didn't care because
Mhm.
I loved the breed so much, and people not love the breed so much because they fight and bite people, but because how much that particular dog loves people.
Right.
But that love that they have for people is so strong, it's been bred in them so tight that they'll do anything for you. So if you teach them to do bad, they're gonna do it better than anything out there on four legs. But that was a disclaimer right there. But I kept a yard full of dogs just to give dogs away. I mean, literally. And I mean, I don't mind, people making money. Hey, you got to live, and there's
Sure.
nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. But man, you got people just, oh my God, don't try to take all the dollars at one, at one time.
Yeah, I agree.
I work for the state, so when people hear since you do this, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of people hear, oh man, you're a correction officer, you're doing this, you're doing that, and they thinking the money is just. I'm like, no, I get paid once a month, so everything is structured just so I have a whole family, you
Yep.
know.
Yep. Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Don't point out me, but I mean, I tried to do, and I can say, and I thank God that the way I did back then with the dogs is how people do me now for the most part. Hey, if I see an interest, a lot of people offer, hey, would you like? Thank you,
Mhm.
thank you very
Mhm.
much. You know what I'm saying? Would you want some shipping, some handling? Oh no, I got it. I'm so appreciative, because it can be crazy. Those pit bulldogs back then, man, I saw some prices that
I'm
was
sure.
just. But because of the relationships I had, I would have people would have litters on the ground, and I may have came across those people once or twice, saw the male that sired a litter, and they remembered how I felt about it, and they're like, hey, I got a litter just dropped, come see me in 30 days. I have one for you, just here you go, here's the puppy. Because I was such an advocate. I have a few tattoos, one old nicknames, pit dog man and bulldog over here, because I was into it like the fish. I think you said about it as far as me, if I'm interested in it, how passionate I get, man. I had every book I could find. The I was the pit bull, encyclopedia myself. Then they started having the breed specific legislature, and it started to hurt
Yep.
them. And that is what it is. But unfortunately, people, we just as a whole just don't care. We don't have a respect for each other, let alone things that aren't human. And we
Yes.
just do whatever. And then when these laws come into play, we get mad. When it's us that brought them along.
Yep.
Like I'm hearing the Asian marijuana at this point. It's not. I mean, they're everywhere. It's not like they're going extinct. But they're still illegal here.
Yeah. Correct.
And I'm like, are they gonna ever flip that? Why is it still locked down? Here as opposed to, you know what I'm saying?
I think in coming, I mean, 5 years is a long time. 10 years is a long time. I see in the next 5 to 10 years, you'll see Asian marijuana legal in the United States again. I think it's coming.
And one thing they should make legal because it's here anyway is a snakehead. But I mean, that's just me, you know.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah. I've only kept really two fish in my lifetime that would take your finger off. But yeah, those snakeheads are awesome fish. They are beautiful.
and that one I'm like, okay, I understand invasive, but you know they're everywhere. I mean, but that's that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy the things that we focus on and make such a priority, you know, and overlook all those other things that we should be focused on. You know, that's
Right.
crazy. But let me see. How would you feel about being like a, let's say like Corey's, you know, aquarium co-op? Do you have a, could you see a direction for yourself like that? Or are you more a fish person, like fish directly?
So I'm gonna be fish directly. I love playing with the products that Corey sends out. I mean, I've off camera here, and thankfully it's not on camera. I have this corner of my studio that I've tried cleaning numerous times, but I've got so much stuff right here that you can't see on camera. And it's stuff that I've either have tested, I'm going to test, I'm gonna play with. I mean, just within reach. You know, I have the aquarium co-op brancher bag. So I bringing the I like playing with products, but I don't have the mind to create a new product. So I'm happy that there's somebody that wants to create the new product, bring it in so I can buy it and play with it. But I think I'm just gonna be the fish guy. I want to focus on fish. It's something that I can do, but then it's also I feel that I can still give positive reviews of products of don't buy this, do buy this. Because one of the things I try and focus on in my videos is I always want people to feel that they can adapt what I've done. So if I do something with my tank, if I set something up, I want them to have options that's going to fit their need, their budget, their fish room, and flow for them. So I'll leave the product design to other people. I just have too much fun playing the fish right now.
Right, I hear you. I hear you. Because I mean, you have to. I mean, that you have to be a special individual. I mean, I can't help but admire the. I mean, it's obsession. Yeah, obsession would be a proper word for it. I mean, you know, you see very few people that can just run that road. You know, the way that company. I can't even say it just underneath his name in a sense like that anymore. It's the company, the way that company rolls. I mean, it's a magnification of what we look at and call ourselves. Oh, you know, I'm obsessed. Man, it's a beautiful thing. But like the mindset you would have to stay on task, you know, in
Yes,
something
and
like that.
yeah, that's why I say I'll stick with the fish.
Oh, let me see. We have any questions down here, y'all? Or
There
y'all
was
having your own
one.
sidebars?
There was one back in the chat. I'm curious to see what your answer is. Who asked it? I think it was Lewis that asked it. He asked. I want to say the question was in the phrase of, "What's the farthest distance you've traveled to get fish?"
Farthest distance I've traveled at this point, of course, I am in Houston, and Houston is big, but
It's true.
I've not traveled outside of Houston,
Okay.
but I've traveled an hour, you know, to get fish. I mean, I've through the mail I've gotten them, you know, from quite a ways. But as far as driving, maybe an hour. I can't see myself going much. Well, no, let me stop that because something might come along that is like, hey, I have to go ahead and get this. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
an hour for myself.
I don't know if I'm ashamed to say that I've been states. States.
No, don't be embarrassed.
So I used to have my Maboo puffer. I actually drove to the aquarium co-op for that one. That was 16 hours one way, and I drove home with it in a styrofoam container, loaded up with air pumps and everything. And then it's Carrie Habercorn, who's in the chat. I did a road trip out to Reno, Nevada to deliver her dream fish to her. And that was awesome. Then we had a family from California come out and meet us, and they picked up some fish from us. So I did. We did Reno in one day. It ended up being like a 21-hour day, I think it was. By the time we left Utah, hit Reno, played around out there, and got home, it was about a 20 to 21-hour trip, but it was so well worth it. Carrie is one of the nicest people you will meet in this hobby, and it was. I got to think of the name that she had a specific name picked out for the fish. It's a Walther. Walther. She named this fish Walther, and beautiful setup. So it was a fun trip. Definitely a fun. So I picked up a goldfish an hour away from me, and it was so big that it kept breaking the bag that we were trying to put it in. So the owner ended up taking an old milk carton, like the milk jug, gallon milk jug, rinsing it out, cutting the top off of it, and putting the fish into the milk jug. And I drove home with this milk jug full of water to fish in my lap for an hour home. And it was like midnight by the time I got home, and I came walking in with a jug with the fish in it. And like you want to see a look from your significant other, walk into the house at midnight, holding a milk jug with a fish in it, and see the reaction.
It would maybe look a little sick to her at that point.
Oh my god, it was
coming this late with a jug of old fish.
It was wild. It was. I've done some crazy things for fish right now. I definitely have.
Ooh, no, I can't say I've ever gone that far, but I might. Now, I'm still actively trying to get to New Orleans down there with Chubb, so I can say that that's going to happen. That'll probably be my farthest trip. Yeah, that'll probably be my farthest trip. What is your holy grail fish? Not for necessarily breeding or anything. If that is what you want to do, that's fine too. But I mean, what is your holy grail fish? Like, just want this fish in the fish room or in the living room or somewhere?
So if we go back a few years, it was the Maboo puffer. It's what that was, and I was very fortunate enough at the time. I knew I wasn't gonna. This is almost 3 years ago now. At the time, there was no way I was going to be able to properly house a Maboo puffer. So I was very fortunate to find a Fahaka puffer local to me that was like a 9-inch Fahaka puffer. And you don't find large Fahaka puffers in my area. Local fish stores will bring in little babies. Then I did have the opportunity to where I did have the financial stability, the size of it. I found a 220-gallon aquarium fully loaded for $200, and I sold all the fish out of it, and it paid for the tank itself. So it worked out to where I was able to drive to the aquarium co-op. I actually went there looking for a Shodenai puffer. I was not there looking for a Maboo puffer, but they sold their last Shodenai puffer like an hour before I walked in the store. They had the Maboo puffer, so I brought that home. And unfortunately, like a year down the road, that tank actually cracked and flooded my basement. So push come to shove, we ended up moving to the house we're in now. And I just don't have the space in this house. There's no good area to put a big 300-gallon tank. I tried. It didn't work. So very fortunate my local fish store, the Waterfront, they now have my Mabu puffer. Well, I'd say that it's their Mabu puffer. So it's kind of it's awesome to still I get to see it all the time. So now the fish that I want in the fish room that I know that I can properly house for its entire life with no issues. Right now, it's a tie between a Giardini arowana because it has the same body shape as the Asian arowanas do, or a really high quality flower horn. And I mean, if Carrie Habercorn has a flower horn that is just amazing, it's if that fish goes missing, don't come looking at my fish room because you're gonna find it. So it's right. So right now, it's gonna be between a Giardini arowana and a flower horn, and I think that's gonna be the fish room 3.0. But we'll see what comes. For a minute there, I was really into the rice fish, the Japanese rice fish, and I've since canceled the order. But January of this year, I ordered some koi Madaka rice fish out of China. So I paid a significant amount of money for the fish itself, the shipping, and then I paid a customs fee to have a certificate of authenticity made up. Then it was Chinese New Year. Then the pandemic started, and I waited 10 months before I contacted the company. It's like, all right, I can no longer wait. Like, things have shifted in my fish room. I can no longer do this. And, you know, like they had the fish. The order was active for 10 months before I pulled out. And that was going to be the kind of the holy grail fish, because finding good rice fish locally for me is difficult, but then finding anything but the daisy blue rice fish is impossible. So I jumped on these koi Madakas, and if you've seen Ryo Watanabe on YouTube, he's out and about. It's like, oh, look, a street shop. Oh, they have koi Madaka rice fish. Like, no way.
Yeah.
And I'm over here paying a lot of money, and it just didn't work out. So I'm going to stick with a really good horn for a Giardini arowana, but I think that's going to come in Fish Room 3.0 when that happens.
Okay. Yes, that is crazy. I watch him all the time. That is real. I wish we had corner shops like they have. I mean, the hobby, we must really can't fathom the popularity that the hobby has over there. For them to be able to have back to back shops with these little displays with all of these fish packed in them, they have to be selling them. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because how long would they last in these little containers like that? Yeah, that's crazy.
I really want to travel to like Germany and Japan to get a firsthand experience of those, because it's what I've seen is I'm the guy that I packed in as many aquariums as I possibly can into my fish room, where like Ryo does some incredible fish room tours where it's maybe only a handful of tanks, but they are so well kept, so balanced that it's just a piece of living art. And it's beautiful to me. Then I try my hand at it, and then I get frustrated. I get frustrated of trying to aquascape it to where it's just perfect this and perfect that. And yeah, I gave up on that a long time ago. So now I just enjoy fish in the glass box and just breed them.
Right. Hey, and talking about your flower early in the chat, like when we first started, somebody asked if you ever got another flower horn.
I have not. So almost 3 years ago, I did have one. I named him. My wife named him Sparta. It was kind of a runt flower horn, but that thing was a spunky little fish. When I moved, I made the very difficult decision to, rehome a lot of my fish. So I have not yet got a flower horn again, but I think it's only a matter of time. It is only a matter of time before I get another one. It was absolutely beautiful.
I was so close. Man, I had got four flower horn fry for a 50, 60-gallon fish tank.
Mhm.
I mean, but they were like 2 inches. And the hardest thing is waiting for fry, to mature.
Yes.
And I just ended up, getting rid of them, man. But I mean, and four flower horn, and they were camphor, king camphor.
So that's fish.
That's like people are looking for these fish. I had four, and they were large enough to where you didn't have to worry about the fry dying.
Yep.
They were doing good, but it was like, I'm not the cichlid guy like that, and they didn't have the colors and the line down the middle and the hump or anything. They just looked like cichlid. I mean, they looked like convicts. So I was like, you want them? Okay, well, give me 3 10-gallon tanks and you can get them. And the guy still has them, but I hadn't seen them, and I actually want to go by and see what they looking like now. But yeah, that the patience, man. Oh my goodness. Even guppy fry, but I mean, if you are into them, it's fine. You can come in and look at them. It really don't matter, even though it take them a while. But if it's not something that you're just into, oh, it's so hard.
Yes, yes, it is. It's very difficult. I've got a new species of Egyptian mouth brooder in my fish room that's not common in the United States, and the only way I was able to get it was I was able to buy 6 fry, and I've had them almost 4 months now, and they are just starting to show color. So for the longest time, they were just this baby silver fish. And I was really hoping I didn't buy just random silver fish. I was really hoping they were going to, show the colors. They are starting to, but patience is hard.
That's crazy, man. But yeah, it's you just you have to have a passion for whatever it is that you're doing in this game, man. And you really exemplify that as far as I'm concerned, man. Because the same way you say about me, man, I can always feel it in your videos or just now, on the chat tonight, man. I mean, you breathe energy into a dead fish keeper.
Well, thank you.
I mean, it's real, man. It's very, very serious. Hey, do you and Peter have any secret collabs?
We no. So the last one, what was the last one we did? So the last one we did is when I moved my discus out of my fish room and he ended up taking them. I know right now he's actually, there's some extended family of his that are not doing well health-wise. So he's been very busy, unfortunately, making preparations that no one ever wants to make. So we haven't done much of the collaboration right now. There's many things we've talked about doing. The latest one that we want to do is for me to go back and film his fish room, and then we've also talked about doing more. Like, I think we've talked about doing a kind of a mini scape off where he comes into my fish room and has to scape a tank according to what fish I'm keeping. Then I have to go to his fish room and scape a tank according to what fish he's keeping. But it's between the pandemic and just mainly right now the family matters that he has to attend to. I haven't seen Peter in a few weeks, which is rare. Usually we see each other once every 2 weeks, but it's probably been over a month since the last time I've actually seen Peter in person. Talk to him all the time. Definitely we message all day long. Because me, him, and Bay Area Aquatics we have our own chat. And if you want some dry entertainment, just take a peek into our chat daily, and he sits himself there.
Speaking of that, the chat I was telling you about, labeled YouTube Bros.
Uh-huh.
It's dropping down on the top of my stream right now constantly, and it's connected to the chat in the stream. Meaning it's like conversations going across. Right now, it's steady dropping down. Somebody just said, "Great job, Big Tech Hank." Thank you. Y'all supposed to be in this chat. You're not supposed to be back there. But that's cool, man. That's cool. Peter, man, is a very good dude.
He is.
Man,
he's got a heart of gold.
Like I mean, a while back, when his girlfriend asked me to make him in a little video.
Yep.
Birthday, coming up on, was it 1,000? No, 2,000 subs.
Which he passed quickly.
And I was like, man, I don't mind. It's a great thing for me, and I tried to speak into him because, that's rocket shoes. I mean, it was just crazy, it was just crazy. And I can say I was along for the ride. I was sitting in the back seat, like, dude, what happened? Just shit off. But that right there is the when people speak of the American dream, that's the YouTube dream. Take that thing and ride with it. I mean,
yes.
Our Fish Collective. Where we at there?
Oh, you representing over there?
Yeah, let me see. I'm trying to find it. Oh, okay. Backwards camera. My fault.
There's definitely one sticker you're missing though. I think we need to fix that.
Yeah, we do. We do need to fix that. We need to fix that. Yeah, we do need to fix that. I'll hit you up in Messenger, show you where you can send it.
Please do.
But yeah, man, that goes back to the beautiful friendships that we can make, man, and nurture, in this here fish hobby, man. It's a great thing. Very, very good, man. We have so many issues with this pandemic, and all these things going on. I'm kind of in the same type of scenario with him right now, as far as my best friend's father, is right there at the doorstep,
right?
And I'm braced for that one. His mother, she transitioned the last of April, so just imagine last of April right now. It's a crazy scenario, but yeah, and to always know that you have somebody, that's there, to lean on. Don't have to always say anything to you because they may not even understand what you're really going through, but so connected to you to where, they can just give you energy, just give you energy, just help you stand up, keep you strong, and that's a beautiful thing. Oh, Chattanooga Ed snuck in here. Oh, there he is. What's happening in Chattanooga? Our Fish Collective is a new website. Oh, you put that up there. Okay.
Yeah, I was answering some stuff in the chat because people were asking if I have a shop on the Get Gills website.
Okay.
So just real quick, if I may, the Our Fish Collective, Guppy Guru Peter and his friend Ian, Salt City Aquatics, put together a site very similar to Get Gills, but it just allows, they bring in hobbyists to sell their fish there. So if anybody's interested in what I have available, I'm on the Our Fish Collective website right now, not Get Gills.
Already, I'm looking forward to putting my fish on Our Fish Collective. My blondes will be up there pretty soon. I still have a little.
If you're looking for those exotic mouth brooders, I got plenty of them. Buy them all. Give me more tank space to breed.
Yeah, for real. Oh, well, man, I think, let me see, well, we at the hour and 15-minute mark. It's been a long day for me. I got an hour and a half sleep from 11 o'clock last night. So I done passed 23 hours.
Hey, you've been a lot longer than me.
Man, I'm going to shut it down. Man, I want to say thank you very, very much, for accepting my outreach to you, coming up in here talking, letting people see you, who hadn't seen you before, letting people hear you. Candy, where you been? Letting people hear what you got going on, man. Letting people hear how you feel, about this hobby and, direction that you would like it to go, man.
Well, I appreciate you allowing you the invite and allowing me to share my voice and my opinion. And this was very pleasant. Very pleasant. I had a very good time tonight, and the chat was amazing. You run a good show over here, Garrick. You do a very good job.
Thank you, man. I try to let the people, let the people come in, and man, I call the Fishy Den an extended hug. I don't allow no nonsense, because I know it exists out there. I've seen it in other places. Just don't bring it in here. This is all love. It's all love in here. How many times a day do you hear somebody tell you that they love you that's not your direct family member? I love you. I love you, Trent. I love everybody on here. I love people, period. People say you have to, what do they say? Oh, you have to earn my respect first. That's not how it's supposed to work. You should have respect for people first and let them show you that they don't deserve it. And then you don't treat them bad. You just step away.
That's the words to live by.
We got people doing it so backwards nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Mridul Singh. Thank you very much. Everybody that's in the chat. Thank you, Mrs. Habercorn. Thank you. Everybody that's in the chat, I love y'all. I'm gonna be here as long as the Lord allow me to be here. Hit me up on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, in comments on videos that I have. I have nothing but time for any and everybody. Whoever needs, somebody to talk to, shoulder to cry on, some advice, whatever. My ears are always open. Always.
No, I've been shown a lot of support on this grind of mine, and I'm very grateful for what I have. Very grateful for what I have.
Amen, man. Amen. All right, y'all. We're gonna say good night. We're gonna say peace. And y'all sleep tight. We're out.
Thank you, everybody.